Hi guys. So today I went out and fed the homeless, and it was great. So last week I was saying that I had found my calling, and really for a long time I've been wanting to help the homeless. And in my mind I cook up like these huge ideas, like I need to have a building and all these rooms and showers and bathrooms and all kinds of things. And so one day last week I was coming home from work, and I had seen two people, probably around like 35, somewhere in that age group, but they were digging in the trash for food. And it was really like a painful thing for me to see, because when I go to work, I carry so much food with me that I'm usually feeding one of my coworkers or two of my coworkers or whatever. But because I had been sick, I had not been eating. And so I'm like looking around my car trying to find a lunch bag, and didn't realize I didn't carry lunch because I had been sick, so I hadn't been eating. And I live in downtown, so I wasn't able to stop and say, hey, just wait a minute, let me run up the street and get food, because there's nowhere to stop in most areas of downtown unless you're going to be paying, to sit there for a second. And so I thought to myself, what is it that I could do that I could, help the homeless in any way? And so I got to thinking about, where do I waste my money? And one thing in particular popped up is that I like to play the lottery. And so I spent about $100 a week on the lottery. And I said, well, maybe I'll just spend $50 and then see, how many meals I can make with the other $50. And so today I was able to make 52 meals. And I think, even with the the container that I put it in, the silverware, the napkins, the whole meal, and water, I was able to get the meals down to like $1.10 for each meal. It may have even been less than that. And so it actually worked out really well today. And it was tough because, like I said, I live in downtown, and it's really difficult to be able to stop, without, holding up traffic or blocking driveways and so forth. And so I was able to give out 22 meals today. And I definitely could have gave the rest of those meals out. It was just that at one point I was stopping to give. It was like four ladies kind of camped out on the side of the road, and I stopped and I was going to give them a meal, and then the police did that whoop whoop thing to me, telling me to keep going. And so I didn't know if it meant you can't pass food out, because I had just passed some officers where they allowed me to give out food to everybody in one area. So I said, well, maybe they were trying, maybe they had stopped those women or something, and so I wasn't able to give them food. But it kind of made me nervous, because I was like, I don't want to get a ticket because I'm trying to give people food. So, because right when I passed them, I turned down another street, and it was like a city full of people. But it was another city person there that was out there talking to the people, and I couldn't get his attention to ask him if it was okay. But this is the first time, you got your trials and errors. And so I'm gonna definitely try it again. I think this time though, instead of making a hot meal, that I'm probably gonna go towards trying to do maybe like a sack lunch, because I think it's just easier to get it in and out. And I have a small car, and I'm telling you, when I say my car was full, the front seat, the front floor, whatever space I had left in the back seat, and then my whole trunk was full of plates. And so I'm thinking, like, if I did the sack lunch, it won't be so bad. You know, like a sandwich, chips, a drink, a cookie, you know, something easy like that. But when I was doing the pricing, it actually costs more to do a sack lunch. So I'm going to try to figure out how I can get that down a little bit more, because maybe I have to buy big bags of chips, separate them into little Ziplocs. I'll figure it out. But anyway, that was my epiphany from last week, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to try to call the city or local shelters or whatever to see if perhaps I could set up somewhere, because I think it might be easier if I just set up a table and then just pass all the food out that way. Also, what I noticed too, which was kind of the reason why I didn't want to give out food this way in the first place, is that I seen that some people didn't put their after they ate, they just threw it on the street or in the bench or whatever. And one thing shocked me greatly, because one lady I gave food to, she was sitting right next to the trash can. And she pretty much just left all the trash just sitting on the bench, where she was literally, didn't even have to pick her arm up high just to toss it in the trash. And so that concerns me too, because one thing, I live in downtown. Second of all, I don't agree with all the trash throwing around, you know, on the streets and stuff, because consciously that does bother me. And so I'm going to try to figure out something else come next week. Maybe there'll be somewhere where I can set up and I can have trash bags and whatever, so that they'll be able to throw their trash away properly. Because one thing I don't want to happen is that, for sure, the police say, well, you're not going to be able to do it because people are littering everywhere. And that would be awful, because, it was so many people that needed food. And they were so grateful. I passed this one, I gave food to this one guy. I don't know if he was mute or he was just so shocked that I was giving him food, because I had to keep saying, do you want food? And it was just, he just looked at me like with just disbelief, like someone was trying to help him. And I was just like, wow, I've seen a lot of, different types of homeless people. And he didn't look like, he looked homeless for sure, but he looked like he could have, had a bigger story. Like he could have been, someone who was in corporate America, just based off of how he was dressed and, how he looked or whatever. But you never know, you never know. And everybody has a story, and one day I'll get to hear some of those stories. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing for right now. And I hope to do it on a grander scale in the future, and perhaps have my own, building, a shelter, just a whole operation. That's what I hope for one day. And that's it. So till next time, thanks guys, bye.